We have a number of rights, including our Fourth Amendment rights and our Fifth Amendment rights. None of them are safe without the Second Amendment. Now, the other part of the culture in Washington, and we've heard it announced by a number of judges, justices of the Supreme Court, is that America should look abroad at decisions of foreign courts and actions by other legislatures. In fact, this administration is contemplating negotiating a treaty, which you probably are all familiar with, the Small Arms Treaty, the UN Treaty. The only effective way we have to protect our rights, with the Second Amendment rights still in effect as it's applied to states, the Supreme Court still hasn't decided that part. The most effective way we can protect those rights is through something like House Bill 69, Delegate Carrico's bill that he spoke about. It will put the Attorney General and the Governor in a position where they must defend this statute and represent the rights of all of you against the federal government if Congress doesn't act anything approaching that Small Arms Treaty or anything that approaches upon your Second Amendment rights. This was something that was never contemplated. This situation would never have been contemplated by the ratifiers who met up the hill in 1788. If they thought it would come to this day, they would never have adopted the Constitution of the United States. That's why we've got to take steps invoking the power of the General Assembly to intercede for us to protect those Second Amendment rights. It would only be the first of our rights to be lost. We need to let the General Assembly know, and particularly the State Senate, which is already arming to defeat the bill, that we must have House Bill 69. No excuses, no conditions. If we can accomplish that, we will have sent a message. Other states will follow. We happen to be the first this year to be in a position to enact such a law. Let's take it to the governor's desk, get it signed, have that ceremony be a totem, a signal that will be spread across the country. Washington will listen. Let's go up and tell them we need House Bill 69. Thank you, Phil.
Well, next we have Donna Holt, and she was part of the rally earlier. For some of you that may not have heard her, this will give her a chance to say a few other words. Donna Holt is part of the, basically, the group is the Virginia Campaign for Liberty, is part of the Tea Party movement. And the thing that I've seen over and over is the Tea Party people are, a lot of them are just now getting into what some of us have been doing for a while. But it's a wonderful thing to see happening, all these Americans waking up, and so many of them suddenly looking at their Second Amendment rights, something they may not have always considered before, and realizing this is a part of their liberty. This is a cornerstone of it in the very end. And so we've been welcoming them with open arms as they start looking around and start deciding to protect the Second Amendment rights along with all their other rights. So I wanted to ask Donna to speak at our rally.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. I believe that God gave us liberty. And freedom is our birthright. The states created the federal government, not the other way around. And the power that states give to the federal government, they can take back. When we were colonists, and the king and parliament needed money from us, and they always needed money, they devised ingenious ways to tax us. One such way was the Stamp Act. That gave them the power to write their own search warrants. We said enough. We fought a revolution. We won the revolution, and we wrote the Constitution. The Constitution wasn't written to grant powers. It was written to keep the federal government from having powers over us within our own borders.
That's right. That's right.
And so, as written in the Constitution, you have the right to think what you wish, to say what you think, to publish what you say, to travel where you want, to worship as you see fit, and to keep and bear arms to defend yourself against tyranny. The states wanted to assure that the government could never interfere with these rights. They knew that if rights came from the government, that they could take them away. But when your rights come from God, unless you violate the rights of others, no one, not even the government, can take them away.
That's right.
The erosion of our rights cannot be blamed solely on one party or another. Both Republicans and Democrats are at fault. Let's not forget it was a Republican president that signed into law a bill to deny your right to purchase and own a firearm for a perceived thought crime without having actually committed a crime and without a trial. Now we have a Democrat for president who has ordered U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder to go after Montana and Tennessee, saying that intrastate commerce under the Firearms Freedom Act is invalid, and they're forcing the issues into court. If that's not bad enough, the Obama administration intends to negotiate a new small arms treaty with the UN. The UN treaty requires that the U.S. government confiscate guns from all law-abiding citizens. If the U.S. meets the UN expectations to adopt the Small Arms Treaty, they would be violating the Second Amendment rights and the U.S. Constitution. We are not here because our president is a Democrat. We're here because we believe that our rights are natural rights that cannot be taken away. When our government tells us what we can or cannot say, what we can or cannot do, how many guns we can purchase in 1 month, where we can or cannot take our guns, they are taking away our freedoms by infringing on our natural God-given rights. But they cannot get away with this any longer. We have a long history of generations of good men who have fought and even died for our freedoms.
That's right.
This is another such moment in history when our generation will fight to defend our freedoms by insisting that our state legislators honor their oath of office regardless of party affiliation. To defend our Second Amendment rights as written in the Constitution, and if they refuse, there will be consequences at the ballot box. As Sam Adams said in 1780, if ever a time should come when vain and aspiring men shall possess the highest seats in government, our country will stand in need of its experienced patriots to prevent its ruin. Well, that time has come. Thank you.
And Donna Holt, yeah, she's been a rising star. I'm watching her. She's progressing and bringing people together. It's quite impressive. While we're standing here on Martin Luther King's birthday, you can't help but see the antis mumbling that he wasn't